This is the last episode in the series Internship 101. So if you haven't watched the first and the second episode in the series, I would encourage you to check them out. And I will provide the links in the description box below. What should you put in your resume when you have no experience? For me, at the time, I put in projects that I have to do during courses that I have to take, as well as the coursework. Say, if you work in a team of 4 people developing a web application for a school to manage their volunteers, then you could include that experience in your resume and put in bullet points about what you accomplished during the project, as well as your contribution to the project. The second thing that I recommend putting in your resume to show your experience is to list all the relevant coursework that you think gonna be beneficial to the position that you are applying for. For example, if you took a class about relational database, include that in your resume, because lately in every single software development job posting, a deep understanding of database design, including NoSQL and relational databases, as well as your practical experience running SQL queries to answer some business questions, as so valuable and almost a must in all the position in computer science.
Yeah, I think getting your first internship is probably the hardest because you don't have any experience on your resume probably, or it might not even be related to the field that you want to be in. So I think that obviously projects will help you because it shows that first of all you like coding. Okay, if this is a coding internship, it shows that you like coding, and it shows that you're trying to learn something on your own, and especially if these projects relate to what you're applying for. So if you're going for a full stack role, then you should have a full stack app on your resume. So as an example, I have an app that I built, and I built it during my training path in Dev Degree, and it has a database, it has a backend, it has a front end, and it's all my own. Like I made it by myself. So that is something really good to show off and to show what you learned. And it's good because say I'm applying for a backend role specifically, I can focus in on just the backend of that app. If I'm applying for something for a front end, I can just talk about the front end written in React. Or if I'm going for something with data, I can talk about how I designed a database. So it can really help you if you have one project that encompasses a lot of different areas. But if you're specifically going for something that's like an algorithms developer, then maybe do something with algorithms, or something with performance or something like that. It depends on you and like what jobs you're looking for. Another thing I would recommend to put on your resume is any clubs that you are in related to that field. So say you're in a computer science club, or if you're volunteering, like say you're helping teach kids or high school students, or you're mentoring them in learning how to code. And also what helps is if you're a teaching assistant at your university or college for teaching a coding course or whichever course. And another really cool thing that a lot of people look for on your resume is open source contributions. And I know that might sound very scary, and I was definitely very intimidated when I started doing this, and I still am, of course, because it's like jumping into a big code base is very scary and you're not sure about it. But that's gonna give you a leg up on other people who aren't doing that, and it will also give you those skills that you will learn at an internship, like looking at code for the first time, being able to understand it, going through it, trying to solve an issue, and writing a pull request for it. So that will teach you a lot of the stuff you'll learn at an internship. So I think it's really good to try to contribute to open source and find projects that you're interested in. And they don't have to be huge, like there can be really small projects, so you won't be overwhelmed, so you can start off with one of those. So just go on GitHub, search around, and try to see where you can help out.
The next question we have here is, what did you do to prepare for the interview?
So the way that I prepare for interviews is I first Google what that company's interview style is like. So I want to see on Glassdoor or Reddit what type of questions that they give, so I can better pinpoint what types of things I need to study. So in my case for Dev Degree, they don't expect people to know how to code going into it. So the types of questions they ask in the interview are called computational thinking questions, or system design type questions. So like, oh, there's this app, how would you design it? Or like this type of system, how would you create it? Just using your brain, thinking, explaining stuff. So it's not coding. You might draw stuff on a whiteboard or a piece of paper if you want, or you can just verbally explain it. So practicing for those is very different from practicing for a very LeetCode heavy type algorithms question. So it really depends on where you are applying. But for the Twitch internship, for example, the way that I was studying for that, it wasn't super intense studying, I will say, but because I had recently taken my algorithms course, I had a lot of knowledge, like the theory for that, and we had done practice in class. As well, I had taken the Facebook ABCS program, which actually paired me with a cohort of students, mostly in Canada and America, or I think I was the only Canadian in my group, but they were really nice people and super smart, like way smarter than me. And we would practice problems together, and a Facebook engineer would come in every week and teach us about how to do technical interviews. So that was super helpful and kind of brought me outside of my comfort zone to actually practice interviews with other people. Of course, there are websites like Pramp if you don't know anyone to practice with and you want to practice with a stranger. I reviewed all the theory and then I did some practice questions, and I also found this course that I talk about in some of my other videos where it's like grokking the coding interview, and it's on educative.io, and it was really good because they took a bunch of questions and they put them into groups of all of the different main patterns you will see in coding interviews. So those were really helpful, like to practice those. And some of my interviews didn't even have any like LeetCode style questions. So you just have to know your foundation skills of object-oriented programming, or just, I don't know, even being able to talk and just not have a break in your sentences or not being awkward is also something that you need to practice. So you should probably practice with friends as well before you do an interview, so that you get the hang of it and that you know how to explain your thoughts and you don't get stuck when trying to think of the time complexity or space complexity of a specific problem.
In my opinion, start first with familiarizing yourself with the job posting requirements. So in order to prepare for the interviews, I recommend you to bring your best self to the interview, because it's really difficult to anticipate what the interviewer's gonna end up asking you, and many of them will just ask you questions that you already included in your resume. And if you are invited to the interviews, that means you are among 5% of the top candidates already. So before they invite you to the interview, they already make sure that you are qualified for the job. So my best advice would be to take a deep breath, get enough sleep before the interview, and just listen to the interviewer's questions and answer with honesty, transparency, and authenticity. I will give you an example. In my second summer, meaning between my second year and my third year, I interviewed as a really big construction company. They have offices across 4 different countries in the world, and I failed miserably in the interview for an internship position because they asked me a lot of questions about database design, and I didn't take any courses relating to relational databases at the time yet. However, I did ask the recruiter for feedback when she informed me that they didn't choose me as their intern that summer. She clearly told me that, just try to take as many computer science classes in your degree as much as possible. She did mention that the interviewers did see potential in me. However, they're not sure if they can teach me about relational databases during only 4 months in the internship program. So after that interview, I went online and took a bunch of courses about relational databases just so I know exactly what they expected from me to do better next time. And guess what? I came back for an interview for a full-time position during my last semester in my bachelor degree, and I got an offer from them. The hiring manager for the internship position, also for the full-time position that I applied, raised me on my ability to take rejection as an opportunity for improvement. So the moral of the story is A no now is not a no in the future. So take rejection as an opportunity to improve in the future, as well as make sure you ask the recruiter for feedback if you don't get the job. And the last question that we have is, how did you gain the required skills for the job when you didn't learn all those skills in school? My supervisor at the government of Alberta once told me something that stick with me for so long throughout my career. She said, school teach you how to learn, practical experience leverage what you learn in school. So seriously, the only way to get practical experience while you didn't learn those skills in school is get your hands dirty. Think about anything that you are passionate about and try to build a mobile application, a web application to showcase the topic that you care about. Consider building a personal blogging website to write articles about any technical concept that you learn about or you're interested in exploring more. The power of social media and Google will soon make that investment become something that your future self will thank you for.
So some of the things that I learned that were not taught to me through school are things that I just learned by attending events from clubs that we had at school, or just random ones that I found online, or attending hackathons, because I have many videos about hackathons and you learn so much when you go to them because you meet new people. And like I talked about with the mentorship, you might meet someone who can mentor you at a specific thing. So say you don't know JavaScript and you want to learn that, then you might find someone who really loves JavaScript and they can teach it to you. So that's something that I would recommend doing more of, is just finding those opportunities where you can take the time, like dedicate a day or 2 days to learning something new. So that's kind of the stuff that I personally do. Or I will follow tutorials and I build my own small projects, and they don't have to be super flashy or fancy if I'm trying to learn something new, but they're really helpful.
Okay, thank you Maria so much for being here with us today. Do you have any other advice for people who would like to land an internship in computer science?
So networking is something that a lot of people really neglect when they're on the job hunt. So a lot of my friends, they're really against it and they just mass apply to a bunch of applications and then they complain to me about why they didn't hear back from all these companies. Well, it's because you didn't really stand out. They just see your resume, they don't know who you are. So the one way to basically make an impression on a company, or one of the main ways, is to network with people who work at that company. So if you know someone already, then that's a real big plus. But if you don't know anyone, then messaging them on websites like LinkedIn, of course, helps, but not everyone's going to respond to you or respond to you in time for your application. So try to maybe message a few people. And another app that I really like, or website, is called Lunch Club. So that matches you with different people in different areas and even like in the world. So sometimes I will get matched with someone who is studying a law degree, or someone who's a UX designer, and they're in different countries. Or I even got matched with a project manager at Google. So you might get matched with someone who's like very specific to your area, or someone who's not really specific, but you get to broaden your scope and broaden your network as well in an interesting way, instead of just like mass messaging people on LinkedIn. And it's, even though I guess it's an artificial environment, it's still nice because like you bump into someone you don't know and you just talk to each other for like 45 minutes, you get to know each other, and you might hit it off and make a new friend. Like, even if you don't get anything out of it, you will learn something from their perspective or about their company, about their work. So I think that's a really good way to meet new people. And also, of course, if you are able to like meet somebody at a company that you're interested in, then the best way to get into that company is to get that person who works there to refer you. So this can be like a social referral, I believe they're called, where it's just like, oh yes, I met this person, I'll refer them. Or it could be like an actual like full-on written for referral where you have to answer a bunch of questions about that person. So that takes more time, and that's more of if that person actually knows you well enough. And those are gonna really help you get into a company, because the recruiters will be looking at those most likely first, because those are because their belief is that the people at their company are smart people, and smart people know other smart people, so let's hire those smart people, essentially. So those are the ways that I would try to network with people, but just don't try to be pushy and ask for things, or I don't know, like trying to be friendly and nice and not try to force people to refer you, I suppose. Like, ask them if they're okay with it, and if they're comfortable with doing that, then of course, like, take that opportunity, but don't force someone to do something like that.
So if you don't know where to start when it comes to networking, I recommend you to start with your social media presence first. Now, I didn't put in a ton of time to make my LinkedIn profiles look amazing, but when I started realizing the importance of having a strong social media presence, I did make an effort to make my LinkedIn profile look stand out from the crowd. And as a result, right after I finished my master program, recruiters from Microsoft and Apple reached out to me for the opportunities to work in their data science teams. I hope that you see a lot of values in the video, and if you have any other questions about landing an internship, just comment in the section below. And if you find this video helpful, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you will be able to get notified for my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.